We're here at Peter Collins Soccer Park in Plainview, New York, the heart of Long Island Junior Soccer League, to present you with this brief video to parents and players of Eastern New York Youth Soccer Association. Eastern New York Youth Soccer Association is one of the oldest and largest soccer organizations in America, and it also is a non-profit soccer organization, which is critically important for you as parents to know, so that you realize that everything that Eastern New York Youth Soccer Association does is not for a profit motive, but rather to help you have the best opportunities for your children to play soccer here in New York, from Montauk Point all the way to the Canadian border. We're here to present you with some information that we think is important for you to know as a parent of a soccer player here in New York. We're going to have interviews with some of the most well-known alumni from Eastern New York Youth Soccer Association and from some of the most successful soccer programs in America.
When it was time for the United States women's national team to celebrate their World Cup victory, they came to New York City's Canyon of Heroes, in the heart of Eastern New York territory. In addition, Eastern New York is home to 3 professional soccer franchises: the New York Cosmos, the New York Red Bulls, and NYC FC, making Eastern New York the envy of soccer fans all across America. Eastern New York Youth Soccer Association, or Eastern New York, is home to the oldest soccer league in America, the Cosmopolitan Youth Soccer League, and one of the largest, the Long Island Junior Soccer League. It was established as a nonprofit organization in 1972 to serve as a state association reporting to U.S. soccer. And while it may be almost 50, Eastern New York utilizes sports sign-up, social media, and the most modern technology to help our leagues run efficiently and effectively. Eastern New York serves over 100,000 youth players up to 19 years old, over 25,000 coaches, and volunteers with over 400 clubs, from Montauk Point, Long Island to the Canadian border and east of Route 81. And there are 11 leagues that make up Eastern New York: Long Island Junior Soccer League, Metro Kids, Big Apple Youth Soccer, Cosmopolitan Youth Soccer League, Staten Island Soccer League, Westchester Youth Soccer District, East Hudson Youth Soccer League, Hudson Valley Youth Soccer League, Capital District Youth Soccer League, Mid-State Soccer League, and Central New York Soccer League. Eastern New York is affiliated with USYS and reports directly to U.S. Soccer, which is a member of the CONCACAF region or confederation, which there are only 6 confederations in the world, and they all report to FIFA, the governing body of soccer all over the world. Eastern New York provides a variety of programs for all youth soccer players in New York. They say you can't be all things to all people. Well, don't tell Eastern New York that, because they have been serving the diverse needs of the youth soccer movement for almost 50 years. Here are some of their programs and benefits: U.S. Youth Soccer ENY Championship Cup, Arch Capital Group Cup, President's Cup, Premier League, ODP Olympic Development Program, Coles Cup, Top Soccer, Coaching Education, Trainer Standards, Risk Management, Annual Awards, Grants and Scholarships, Hall of Fame, Referees, and Soccer Across America, just to name a few. Eastern New York works with leading-edge technology to provide you, the parents, coaches, and players of Eastern New York, with the best and most efficient services. To find out more about Eastern New York Youth Soccer, go to our website at www.enysoccer.com or call us at 888-536-9972 or email us at enyoffice@enysoccer.com. Se habla español.
I had the unique pleasure of playing the sport literally since I was 10 years old. Grew up in Long Island Junior, played for Mr. Peter Collins, who was the former president. Our team went to the national finals at U19. We were the first team from Long Island to get there. I had the pleasure of playing at Adelphi University for Bob Montgomery. I happened to have been very fortunate to get a full scholarship and attended there and was a 4-year starter. So I enjoyed a pretty good playing career. Some of the changes I've seen over the last 15, 20 years is in 2 areas. The level of the volunteer has clearly changed, and the level of experience of that volunteer has dwindled, and that has become a very, very scarce commodity. So when I played club ball, and even 20 years ago, the volunteer was the backbone of the team. But over the last 5 or 6 years now, it's become a trainer-based environment, because the volunteer base just wasn't experienced enough to try to take the players to the next level, and that's become clearly a much more costly endeavor for the players. Clearly, what the biggest change is, that top 2% now, almost all of them, you have a trainer-based program in place. The hardest thing that parents and players, as they get older, to understand is the scholarship money available clearly goes after the top 0.5%. They don't really fully understand that unless that player, and I use the phrase, glows in the dark, makes it very, very hard. And the player that just falls below that cut sometimes feel like they belong in that glow in the dark category. And that's where they're starting to change. To me, a glow in the dark player is this player, when you watch him or her play, they absolutely dominate the game at 12, 13, 14, 15, and someone who has a good soccer background, and a trainer will tell you, someone who's been around the sport, that player stands out, all right? And you just can't miss and say, he is clearly the best player on the field, male or female. And at Smithtown, we've had the good fortune of seeing that a player come through every 4 or 5 years. We managed to develop a player that what I would define glows in the dark. Unfortunately, with the paid-to-train environment, sometimes parents get led to believe that, you know what, if I go to this environment, it's going to enhance my chance. Some players and parents feel like they still have that opportunity, and they may not be as candid with themselves on recognizing that opportunity. Again, I never like to rain on anybody's parade in terms of what they want to be opportunity, but you also want to be somewhat realistic. You know, and I see it in other sports where they really push it even more, not just in soccer. And for us, at least how we manage it within our club and with our trainers is, it's the overall experience. And that elite player or that very, very good player should use the sport and the investment to try to get them in the school that they want to go to. And then if they could complement it by playing the sport, they can. It's very hard for a parent to be that objective. Always very, very difficult. And the other element that's very, very different as well is all these college coaches now have a huge pool to pull from. So it's not just Long Island. So what we see and what I see, and now seeing it for the last 3 or 4 years as we've had the unique opportunity of producing some high-level teams, both in the boys and the girls, I got to see how they're all able to participate and get some access to the scholarship money. But the fierce competitiveness of it, because there's so many kids out there that play such good soccer, that you just have to be a lot more realistic, on that one. So especially what I would define the 3 to 5 to 10% range, where it's a little less realistic for them. But the sport still could give them a great ability to get into a college and participate at that level, because it's such an enriching sport to be able to do. The Arsenal, and again, they were a glow-in-the-dark team as opposed to a glow-in-the-dark player. So they really had a great foundation, which was very rare, and we caught lightning in the bottle as a club, where you had 6, 7 kids from Smithtown up to 10 be able to compete on a national stage, versus these clubs across the country where they're pulling from 100 miles, and Smithtown was pulling from a 5-mile radius. So the good portion of those players did get excellent exposure, and they got into the schools that they wanted to get into. Did some of them get scholarship money? Yes. Did any of them get full scholarships? only the glow-in-the-dark ones got the full scholarships. The rest of them, out of a roster of 22, got different portions all over the place. And on our girls' side, girls is a little different on the soccer side. It's a little more narrow of a base, so we had more success with putting some girls, that got half scholarships, quarter scholarships, and more importantly, they got into the schools that they really wanted to get into, and then allowed them to be able to have an education first and then enjoy playing soccer at the college that they did. That starts 14, 15, maybe 13 a little bit. But from U9 all the way up to U13, it's irrelevant. They could be superstars, and at 10 or 11, 13 or 14 is where they start to, the player, the girl or boy, starts to understand how good they want to be. And then the second element of that is, if they truly want to be that good, and it's an extreme rarity these days, how much they take it upon themselves to play the game and how much they watch. Too many times I hear that because they're paying a trainer twice a week, which is only 3 hours a week, and then a game, which everybody knows they touch the ball between 3 to 5%, that they're going to turn into glow-in-the-dark players from 9 to 14. It's not happening, Kevin. They got to be watching the game every week, 3 to 4 hours watching the game, and they got to play on their own. All right. So from that development and the training program, when it's in place properly, and the training program, which we're proud of at Smithtown, is focused on developing from 9 to 14, and we take winning as a secondary, because how else do you measure success? We're fortunate in our club that the training program we have with Tom Lips and his organization is from 9 to 13, they do nothing but focus on developing player development. The board and the club really feel winning is secondary. There's plenty of competition right on Long Island. So from 9 to 13, there's really no need to play in any other league except Long Island Junior, because there's good enough competition. And since we're developing, you're not having to go play for some of these clubs where they're already traveling at 10 and spending thousands of dollars a year going traveling overnight to all these tournaments and all over the Northeast. As they get older, then you just be a little more selective of what tournaments you go to. Then at that point, to be able to save some of your money on that one. So that's kind of the way I would approach it, because it's a difficult thing to tell a parent not to invest in their child. And the other element is keep the teams playing in one league. That's more of a function of the club. So as a parent, you want to look at where they're doing. If they're playing in 2 leagues, what's the point? What's the objective? So that just means more money for the trainer if they're playing in 2 leagues. So you evaluate the program and say, you know what? Forget what league it is. Whatever they think is going to give them the best opportunity for their development, you pick the league. As opposed to going with a team that's playing in 2 or sometimes 3 leagues.
Hi, I'm Kevin McCrudden. I'm an international author and speaker and the narrator and producer of this segment for Eastern New York Youth Soccer Association. So now you've seen a lot of information from some of the most amazing athletes and players that have ever come from the New York area, as well as some of the best coaches in New York. And their advice is pretty consistent. It's about guiding our children and being there to support them and making sure that we help them develop the motivation and the drive to be successful players as well as successful human beings. Remember, one of the most important things that we can do for our children is provide them with love, unconditional love. Because as parents, that is the most important thing that we can do. Not help them get college scholarships, but to help them flourish as human beings. And also remember that Michael Jordan, one of the most important things in his life is he was cut from his 8th grade basketball team. It was a defining moment in his life that helped catapult him to become one of the greatest basketball players and one of the greatest athletes ever in history. That one incident of him being cut was the thing that motivated him. So as we try to protect our children from being cut or having other things like that happen to them, it may be the very thing they need in order to grow as people and to become even more successful as athletes and as human beings. And one of the founding principles of soccer in Long Island and New York is a quote from Rocco Amoroso, is building character through soccer. In the end, that's what we're doing. It would be wonderful if our kids play in the World Cup team or in Major League Soccer or in the NWSL,
But in the end, we're building human beings and not soccer players. Once again, this is Kevin McCrudden from Eastern New York Youth Soccer Association. I hope that you've enjoyed these clips and this information that we've provided you, and I hope that it helps you guide your child through their soccer career, once again helping them to become the very best that they can be. Take care and good luck.